In Beijing, the caucus meets near the official government conference.
The caucus has been examining the platform for action for any bracketed language that the grassroots perspective could be added to. At this stage of the game, after all the conferences leading up to this big conference, there's only a little bit of language in the proposed platform for action that is open for change. The language that is open for change is inside little brackets, just the way you would put brackets around language when you're writing something. And that's the only language that they are willing still to debate and negotiate about. The Grassroots Caucus has been divided up into working groups in the areas that they thought were most important to have a grassroots emphasis. And these working groups have now come back with proposed language for these bracketed sections. And now the drafting group is putting it all together in one big lobbying document so that representatives of the Grassroots Caucus can go to the official delegations, collar them in the halls, or if they know somebody in the working groups, the official working groups, to show them what we want. Unless women's contributions are considered in national accounts, grassroots women will not have a strong basis for demanding an equal voice.
I think you should put it directly as unless grassroots women's contribution is not considered.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Bifurcating the sentence.
Unless grassroots women's contribution is considered in national accounts,
Right.
they
It's
will
not
not.
considered.
They will not have.
They will not have.
Unless we already have an
Unless.
agreement. So we don't say not again.
No, but political participation is not being discussed at this point. So
Okay. Okay, then. Yes, sure. Paragraph 60, L and M. L and M.
We need to redefine work.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we need to do rather than going into mainstream
Yeah,
enterprise.
exactly.
So we need to be supported, grassroots women need to be supported for the work that they're doing.
290. I think it's amazing that sexual harassment is still in brackets, but there it is. I thought we should press to remove those brackets.
Discrimination in girls' access to education persists in many areas owing to customary attitude, early marriages in brackets, pregnancies, etc., etc.
Yes.
Inadequate and gender-biased teaching and
Yes.
educational materials,
Definitely.
brackets, sexual harassment.
Yeah,
We want to
remove the
remove both the brackets
Yes.
and say they are an obstacle to.
Excellent. Yeah.
The Grassroots Caucus holds a press conference.
people are different from governments. It may be housing in the United States, but it may be low-income credit in the country that I come from, India. Whether it is the governments in the north that have denied poor women housing or social security, etc. These are the same governments that are taking over structural adjustment policies to the countries in the south that we came from. So as people, we want to be together, and we want to distinguish between the policies of governments and the friendship of peoples.
And each day, the Grassroots tent features a different region of the earth. Africa, South Asia, South America. Women exchange with each other invaluable understandings, the how to do it of their successful efforts. Here, a single mother on welfare tells of her partnership with a funder and the importance of exchange among women.
I grew up in a little village near Stuttgart, and when I think about how I grew up, it was always this sentence in my life: what you want, it doesn't exist. And you never get it.
Who would say that?
My mother. And it was like to be very quiet and don't show up too much. Then with 22 I was pregnant, and it was after a while it was sure I'm gonna be a single parent, and my son Frederick was born, and he didn't breathe, you know, and so he was handicapped. He was spastic, and 2 years I worked really hard with him, and when he was 3 he could walk. He is a bit slow in talking and all this, but he could walk. But in this time I really didn't do anything for myself, and I got myself in a lot of problems because I started drinking and drugs. When there is a lot of trouble, I could do it, but I didn't feel any happiness. And the nice things with my kid, I really couldn't feel. I felt that I'm really alone, and all these things with his father, you know, he just wasn't there, and I was really unhappy. And I thought, I need other people, I need exchange with other women, all this. And what I did is I went to social service, you know, and because I'm a single parent, and in Germany from social service you get help when you're a single parent. What I got is I got money, so I could exist quite good. But what I didn't get is some like friendship, that somebody respects me like I am. I always felt like I'm a client, you know. I was in a bad situation, or I wasn't very strong, but I didn't feel like a client myself, and I didn't want to be like this. And I wanted real feelings, and I didn't want this, you know, these paid social workers. When I go, they forget me again. I wanted somebody who remembers me. And so one day I read in a newspaper one advertisement from 2 women with children, same age my son was, that they want to meet together, and they look for other mothers. So I answered. And that's how it started. We had this room, and we met once a week, and then we said, it would be nice to eat together with one child. And so we started to meet twice a week, and we ate together. We cooked with our children. It was really nice. And one of the women, she helped me to get a little job. She said, I know something, and maybe, but I wasn't educated for this, but maybe if you want, I can help you to get this job. So she took care of Frederick, and I could work at night once a week. At this time, I didn't know anything about mother centers. But I was really getting stronger because of these women, and with the time we were, I think, 10 women with little children, and we tried to network together, you know, help each other. After a while, the boss said to me, why don't you write down what single parents need? You know, and I'm not a social worker, so I was really surprised because usually the social worker write down these things what single parents need. But I was, you know, I thought, okay, I do it. And I could, and I was sitting down one week, and it was enough to sit down one weekend, and I could write out all what I felt, all these fears, all these, you know, all these feelings, and my visions, and all this. And I wrote, in a way, it was a concept for single parents in Stuttgart. I didn't know this, I just wrote my things down. And that's how these single parents on welfare money, and me, in my new position, we created this mother center. This was about, when we started, was 10 years ago, I think, yeah. Now we have even a bigger place, and right now, and I hope when I come back, we have apartment as well to it. So we are really growing.
An apartment where someone lives? Or?
No, empty apartment.
I see, to use the space.
To use the space, because in 1 week, I think about 250 or 300 women with children come to our mother centers, and for this it's quite small. And right now we are getting, without money, you know, without support from our government, for new rooms, we say we still do it. It's worked out like this, and we can do it.
So
and
you have money from a foundation, basically, or
but
private?
A private foundation, but only for the room. You know, each mother center is different. What we do right now is that we have a coffee shop where you always can come. We have a babysitter organization.
How does that work? 3
mothers. They, you know, they advertise. So people who want to babysit, they come to us, and we make interviews with them. There are groups of children, and there you can just bring your child and go again, and you only have to pay a little bit. And then the other things.
How come you only have to pay a little bit?
Yeah, because in the mother centers, you know, it's not volunteer work, but we have all this. We all get the same amount for our work, and it's 10 marks an hour, and that's not very much. So we can, but right now we can't pay more for everybody. So it's for this service. If you get your child into the mother centers, we don't. We think it's okay not to take so much money from the women. Some of the women, they pay more. If they have more money, or they get a member of our mother centers and give us money like this. But we say it's really important to have low prices so everybody can have this service. We have a political group, like if anything is in our neighborhood what we don't like, like if you can't cross the street because it's always full of cars, or they close a playground again and build a house. For instance, we have a political group. They go into was heißt Rathaus? Huh?
The State House.
The State House,
right.
you know, and talk with the politicians and about these subjects. And a lot of times we are very successful in this. Sometimes it's a problem for us that a lot of people are using the center, but we always say it must be possible just to use it. And there is going to be a time when a woman who is using is going to be an active woman. And it usually happens like this. We do a lot of flea market, you know, that we collect in Germany. People throw out a lot, you know, and we collect these things what other people throw out. Or we have a lot of really wonderful old people in our neighborhood. They love us, and they, you know, it's always like this. They say, when I die, I don't want to have all these things around me. And they call us before, and they say, you come and look what you need and what you can sell. And from this we get a lot of money with our flea markets. Yeah, and this money goes into the work, you know, that we can pay the women for what they do. The wonderful thing is for me is that I found my voice. And you know, I know I can do it myself. I think that's very important for me and for a lot of them. We have a lot of problems in mother centers for sure, but we talk about it and we learn how to see the diversity as something really wonderful. One thing about this international network, I was so lucky to get to New York before this conference to a conference which was for Beijing, and there we had a tour to East Harlem, yeah, and it was a housing project, and you know, I was so happy to see this because we always thought, how can we handle our housing problems, and you know, get enough space, get a community that is going to be safe. How can we handle that we don't have so much drugs in our community? And what I saw there, that it works, that when the women go forth, it's possible to change these problems, you know, in housing, in community. And this was really important for me, and I took this picture home with me and I told everybody about it. And it was really, in a way, it was funny, you know. We talked about this. My pictures in myself, I told everybody in the mother centers around me. And now what happened is, in Stuttgart, I'm now invited, and two other women from mother centers to, they build now, you know, the Americans left Germany, the army people, and we have a lot of housing there and space. And they invited us to create this space new. Believe this, before we didn't think about this, that we could be involved in a process like this. And when I saw East Harlem, and I took back this vision, they asked the mother centers to create this new living, and we are very important, believe this. They always, when they make a meeting, and there are always these, you know, these very, very important people, they call us first if we have time, and then they call the other ones. And I think this was very important, and this is you get a picture somewhere else in another country, you see something, it's working, and you take it home and you talk about it, and you have a new picture in your future. That's my...
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me just one thing. How many mother centers are there in Germany?
340.
I am a mother. Go to mother centers. Look for support and networking.
in our own culture, values such as Shakti, which is the female energy, which I think Groots South Asia and Groots International symbolizes the rise of female energy when they get together in solidarity.
From India, a fisherwoman tells how she became active in the Working Women's Forum. 240,000 women with little or no income organized in small groups of 10 to borrow money for training and for mutual support.
Now, would you tell me your name, please?
Rajeshwari.
Okay. And
I'm Srividya. I'm also coming from the Working Women's Forum India.
all right.
I'm a coordinator in the forum.
அதாவது நான் வந்து 9 பேர் கூட பிறந்தேன்.
I was born with 9 brothers and sisters.
எங்க குடும்பம் வந்து நல்ல வசதியா வாழ்ந்த குடும்பம். எங்க அப்பா வந்து குடிச்சதனால ரொம்ப கஷ்டமான சூழ்நிலையில ஆயிட்டான்.
We did have a life which was quite comfortable, but because my father had a habit of drinking alcohol, most of our income was just frittered away.
எங்க அக்கா கிட்டே இல்ல. அதாவது எங்க அண்ணா செய்வாருங்கற நம்பிக்கையில எல்லாத்தையுமே கையில சேர்த்து வச்சிருந்தெல்லாம் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க.
I come from a background where I did not have the right to choose my husband. So I decided to get married on my own, and I married out of my caste to a person whom I liked and whom I loved.
அப்படி கலப்பு திருமணம் பண்ணிட்டேங்கிறதுக்காக நான் என்ன படிக்க வச்சதனால தான் நான் அப்படி போயிட்டேன்னு எங்க அம்மா எங்க அக்கா ரெண்டு பேரும் வீட்டை விட்டே வெளியில கிளப்பி விட்டாங்க.
So both my mother and sister were very deeply hurt because I went against the rules, and they completely said, they shut the doors against me and they said, you should not come back to the house. I don't want you back. So I was driven away out of the house because I married out of the caste.
ஆனா நம்ம வந்து அவங்க என்ன விலைக்கு சொல்றாங்களோ அந்த விலைக்கு தான் நம்ம மீனை வாங்கிட்டு போறோம்.
The only opportunity left for me to earn my livelihood was by selling fishes. So the money lend, the particular man, the middleman who sells fishes in bulk, whatever price he quotes, we have to give the price in cash and then take the fish in cut, which is usually very high.
அதாவது மாலு நூல் எல்லாம் பிரிச்சு கொடுத்தாங்க. ஏழைங்களை யாரும் திரும்பி பார்க்குற சூழ்நிலை அது நடக்கல.
2 women organizers from Madras came to my fishing town and they started talking about the forum and its operations in Madras. I did not believe it because there was this history in our fishing town where an organization was started and it was only for the rich, and they collected some money from us and they just shared it among the rich community and they just disappeared one fine day. So we mistreated the women organizers who came from Madras because I did not believe them.
அந்த அவங்க வந்து சொன்னப்ப வந்து நாங்க அறவே நம்பல. ஏன்னா எங்க பக்கம் ஆண்களுக்கு தான் சங்கம் இருந்துச்சு தவிர பெண்களுக்குன்னு ஒரு சங்கமே கிடையாது.
I also did not believe there can ever be an women's organization. I am only used to seeing men's organizations and setups for men.
பேர் வந்து அங்க ஒரு 50 கலப்பு திருமணம் நடக்குது, நீங்க வந்து பாருங்க.
Because we completely refused to believe that even the organization is operating there. I was along with me 2 more women were asked to come accompany the 2 women organizers from Madras to see what is going on in Madras and meet the women there and then believe, seeing is believing.
அதையோட எங்களை வந்து தனியா பொம்பளைங்களை அனுப்ப மாட்டேன்னு எங்களோட சேர்ந்து எங்க ஹஸ்பண்ட் இன்னும் ரொம்ப ஆம்பளைங்களும் சேர்ந்து வந்தாங்க.
Because we were all women, my husband and few the women's the rest of the 2 and their husbands did not consent us to travel all the way to Madras. They said, we are coming along with you if you have to go. So 3 husbands and 3 wives were the team who came from Adramapatnam to Madras to see what the forum is doing.
யாருமே பேசலங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு மாதிரி நான் டச்சப் இல்லாம இருந்தேன்னா அப்போ வந்து நிறைய பேரோட பழகுற சந்தர்ப்பம் கிடைச்ச உடனே இதுல சேரணுங்கிற இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் எனக்கு வந்து.
So from my childhood I have been used to a very gregarious living and I was such a fun-loving person. And after my marriage I was completely thrown out to a very isolated world. But when I entered into the forum, I found thousands of women and hundreds of women coming and very eagerly sharing their stories with me, and I felt I belonged there.
போட்டாங்க. நாங்களே இங்க பாத்துட்டு போன நாங்களே போய் ஒரு 100 பேரை கூட்டணும்.
Then Amma she says Jaya came to Adramapatnam and there was a meeting and we were the prime organizers because we believed in the organization. We went back to our community and we told them this was a genuine organization which has come all the way to us. So it was a mass meeting where hundreds of women came and we attended the first Working Women's Forums meeting at Adramapatnam.
உங்களுக்கு என்ன தேவை, உங்களை முன்னுக்கு கொண்டு வரதுக்கு என்ன வழி வேணும், நீங்க கேட்டதை நான் செய்யறேன், என்னால முடிஞ்சது அப்படின்னு சொன்னதே எங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கு.
The best thing I liked in the meeting was that there was no one person sitting there and dictating to us that I have come here, so this is what I'm going to do for you. There was this very kind approach where we were asked what were our needs. We were asked what were the problems that we are facing. We were asked to prioritize our problems, which comes first to be addressed. And so that was the best thing that I liked at the first meeting that I attended.
மீன் வாங்குவோம், 10 வியாபாரிகிட்ட போய் வாங்க முடியும், எங்களுக்கு பணம் தந்தா எங்களுக்கு தொழில் செய்ய முடியும், தொழில் பொருளாதாரத்துல எங்களுக்கு முன்னேற்றம்.
So the first critical problem that we felt at that time was the wholesaler who was completely having the access and the control for the fishes. So we said we need resources in our hand to take control of the stock and lead our own lives. So we said access to credit was a very prime and critical need.
Access to
credit. I formed a group of 10 and I was elected a leader from that group. We got a loan of 100 rupees, which is somewhere around $3. Yeah, $3. No, because of the reputation of the forum, and it was Jaya who she says Amma, Jaya who gave the guarantee that these women will pay back the loan.
அவங்களா கொடுத்தாதான் நாங்க முன்னாடியே வாங்கிருப்போம் தனித்தனியா. எங்கள மாதிரி இல்ல, ஏழைகளை திரும்பி பார்க்க ஆளே கிடையாது.
We are poor and we are powerless. The banks did not believe us. I was previously indebted to the money lenders. So 50 rupees I paid back to the money lenders. I had to pay back my debt to the money lenders. And the rest 50 I went to the middleman to buy the fish cash.
கொஞ்சமாவது சேர்த்து வச்சுக்கணும். அப்புறம் ஒருத்தருடைய பிரச்சனைகளை பகிர்ந்துக்கிறது, இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் நிறைய ட்ரெய்னிங் கொடுத்தனால தன் துணிச்சலா எதையும் செய்யற மாதிரி ஒரு ட்ரெய்னிங்.
It was during that time that I started undergoing my training program at the forum, and that gave me a lot of courage and boldness to face my life, because I started talking boldly to the middleman that he is charging exorbitant rates of interest and he is giving us all rotten fish, because previously we did not have the voice to talk to him. Now, because we were in a group, we could go and confront him and say that no more of your atrocity.
அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ட்ரெய்னிங் கொடுத்ததனால ஓரளவுக்கு அதை எப்படி வச்சு செய்யணும்ங்கறத நாங்க கத்துக்கிட்டோம்.
So I learned how to lead my business because I was trained to save money, I was trained to deal with credit.
13 வருஷம் அந்த சங்கத்துல இருந்திருக்க மாட்டேன்.
Says
இப்ப 26,000 பேரை உருவாக்கி இருக்கவும் முடியாது.
Number one, if I had not paid back the loan, then I would not have got a repeat loan. Besides that, Jaya came all the way. She did not believe, she did not know who we were. She did not know if we were politically connected. She did not ask for our assets. She did not ask us to pledge something, but she gave surety for the loan, the small money that we got from the bank. So I thought it was my duty to keep up her reputation. If we had not paid back, the organization would not have grown to this mass, 30,000-40,000 women that we are now in Adrama. Women started asking us, are only the fisher women suffering? Are we not suffering equally? Are we not in the grips of money lenders? So what is preventing you from taking us into your fold? It was then that we started organizing. At Adramapatnam, we have over 28,000 women.
In your village, in your town?
In our town. And the forum has a membership of, forum kevlo 3,40,000. The forum has a membership of over 3,40,000 women workers in the informal sector.
Say that again, how many?
3,40,000 women members.
40,000 women.
3,40,000.
What are you saying?
340,000.
340,000 women.
பெத்ததுல நான் அடைஞ்ச ஒரு சந்தோஷம் இது ஒண்ணுதான். நீ என் பொண்ணு 9 பிள்ளைங்கள்ல எல்லா இடத்தையும் பார்த்தாலும் நீ மட்டும்தான்.
Even my mother is proud of me because it's a long time since she even forgot the enmity that she had with me. She says, of all my sons and daughters, you have accomplished a lot. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Packing up, summing up, saying goodbye, women return from their experience of each other in China with renewed vision, commitment, and energy for the work ahead.
I feel very close to Ana Hernandez from Costa Rica. I have learned a lot about her country, her town. They did a protest in the college. And in New York, our college, everything's going higher now. There's like $5,000 now, every semester now in college. It's going up every year. And us, we are low-income parents, we can afford that. So I feel that this year, when I go back to my college, LIU, we're going to have to do a strike on that. They won. Yes, they won. I mean, if you organize 25,000 people, you don't think that the government is going to be scared? Ana did a very great job, and I'm very proud of her. As a good leader, I wish I could be like her in the future.
That it wasn't just that we had a tent and a space, a promised space, but that we had a political caucus that started in the tent, and that we had 25 women, professional grassroots, that formed a grassroots caucus down at the government meeting. Usually people think, isn't it cute? There's the grassroots women, they dance and sing. But everybody could easily go into heavy-duty content and look at the political issues and figure out how to negotiate negotiate that space as well as dance and sing. So there's something about the fact that we came out with all of our whole culture was shown.
What we need to do now is get to work on implementation in a big way in our own countries and use the contacts that we've made through these various conferences to build the networks ourselves. Back home, it's time for all of us to start really strategizing about how we can get resources to the grassroots. Our weaknesses as NGOs are weaknesses that are due to the short-term project-directed funding that we get. The old problem is if you take government money, they buy you out. And the foundations, in a sense, rule the roost because he who pays the piper calls the tune. And we all know that we felt that the foundations are rather high-handed. I mean, they think they know best, and they tell us what the agenda is. And if ours matches theirs, it's fine. And if ours doesn't match theirs, we kind of distort it slightly in order to get the money. And we have to figure out a way around that box. Either we figure it out or we get the foundations to take a different kind of role. And there, I think the example of ORAP in Zimbabwe is important because they took a lot of international funders' money, Oxfam, etc. And they basically said to them, we don't want project money. We want you to buy into what we're doing and we'll make the decisions about how to spend it. In other words, we want you to invest in us.
What probably happens is because we're a community-based group of people volunteering our time, we combine our activities so that we can utilize the dollar more effectively because we don't have so many dollars. However, in combining the activity to minimize the use of a dollar, we've confused our path. And it's like you said, we're building the plane as we fly it, and the plane is miles and miles up in the air, and we have nothing to catch us. You know, so if we put a wrong piece in and it doesn't hold, there we go, bam, you know, we're all apart. That we need to get back to some foundation building, and it doesn't matter if we're loving one another while we're doing it, and it doesn't matter if we understand the word, but we need to do some foundation building or 20 years of struggle will be going down the drain.
We went on a tour and we got off the bus, and there were just the remnants of the concert. You know, all the signs had been ripped off the wall, the pretty ones, and it was dark, growing
You mean
dusk.
of the conference?
Of the conference. And it was a place where we waited for the bus, and there were still a few people selling small things, and a few people looking at them, but it was kind of like the day after the carnival when you go to the fairgrounds. And three young Chinese men walked down the street, and they were holding hands. You know, it's kind of the Chinese custom. And they appeared to be in their late teens or early 20s, and they were whistling in harmony. And they were whistling the Red River Valley. And I couldn't remember but a few lines in it. From this valley, they say you are leaving. We will miss your bright eyes and sweet smile. Yes. And it was so... It was like exactly the feeling that I had in leaving China. But it was also as they were walking through the crowd whistling that together in harmony, beautiful harmony, that I think that we were sunshine to these people too.
Are you leaving today?
No, tomorrow.
You're feeling very sad. What's the sadness?
I think that we were here so briefly.
Good morning.
Good morning, women together. And there was so much that could have been accomplished through all of our efforts. And many of the women we'll never see again. And they may never come this far again. But I guess I will remember their smiles.
You feel like less was accomplished than could have been?
I think that as a conference, I think that our work was good. And I'm glad that Roots was well organized and able to address the needs of grassroots women. But yes, I think that we were very marginalized in this location, not able to come together as organizations as well as possible because of the distance and the logistics, greatly separated from the official conference, and that if it was my hope, not necessarily my expectation, that some sort of strategic plan for the future could be clearly articulated and at least circulated. I'm disappointed that that did not occur. Yeah. But I'm satisfied with our work. I looked at it last night, and I said, I don't think the conference accomplished its intention, but I think that we did what we could, and I'm proud of that.
After the closing, hundreds of Chinese come to see the historic site, now empty, of the Fourth World NGO Conference on Women. In news reporting of this historic event, did you hear stories like the stories in this video? And I'd like to know, do you feel yourself a part of this worldwide movement of women and their allies?